Welcome to the Fret Frontier. Today we will be exploring singing bowls. I have 3 singing bowls in front of me here from the Himalayan Bazaar company. This first one is a singing bowl that I first purchased. I became interested in singing bowls from participating in the live streams from the Ukulele Zen channel. At the end of the live stream, at least, we paused to take meditative time together as a community, and that has started off with the sound of a singing bowl. Okay, so this is the first singing bowl that I purchased, and then these additional singing bowls here provided for me to demonstrate to you from the Himalayan Bazaar company, so you can hear different sounds, different tones, and I'll talk about bowls, singing bowls, in regard to our musical journey. So let me just play the tones of these other bowls here so you can just listen and see what you think about the sound. Now I'm stopping these bowls before they would stop ringing out, because they ring out for quite a while, just so you can hear the tone. Here's the next one. So what I hope you were able to notice through the microphone is that these singing bowls, when you get a metal one, are trying to represent or bring forth more than just one note. And that's what I find so fascinating about them. So they're going towards trying to play a chord. You might hear like the first and the fifth of your scale, or the first, fifth, and third of your scale, trying to ring out there through all the overtones. You'll have your fundamental sound, that's the first one that rings out, and that's generally based on the major scale. So from what I've seen online for these, generally the fundamental tone is built towards a note in the C major scale. So in our C major scale, we have C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. So you can reasonably expect that when you add one of these bowls to your collection, it will have a fundamental tone from there. But there's also other tones that are resonating through the spectrum in there, and that's where you hear that beautiful chordal sound. Now these smaller bowls tend to just go for 2 notes. You have your fundamental one, and then the secondary sound, and then these larger bowls can do or attempt to express to you 3 tones and overtones, but you still hear that fundamental one. And I'll show you how to figure out the pitch of your bowl, and then I'll show you some spectrum analysis through a simple app to just give you an idea of what's going on. Now in my ear, I can't hear all those different harmonies and pick them out, but I experience them and I enjoy them. I first became aware of the idea of musical key notes or tones affecting mood or emotions when I was in college. I worked in a music library, and in that library they kept the different theses that people had written for their doctorate degrees or their master's degrees. And one that I found particularly interesting was from a person that had done an analysis of mood and music and traced back through the classical period how composers would deliberately pick a key in the hope of evoking a particular response or emotional setting for the audience. So they would try to evoke the feeling of triumphant return for a war hero, for romantic mood, for a wedding, or whatever they were composing towards. And they would try to use the key that they would create their musical composition in to help them to that end. Whether or not it had lyrics, they were hoping to invoke that sympathetic response within the listener to help guide them and help them enjoy fully the event or the experience that they were participating in. So I think in our musical journey that these bowls are able to help us in that kind of a way, to create a pad in which we can just relax and experience silence with still some cognitive involvement and comfort to help our focus. And I'll show you another chart here that shows another analysis that had been done about what happens when you are just trying to Be with your thoughts, whether or not you're trying to produce something. And it shows here, of course, they're kind of giving the thumbs down to rock music, but you can see that having a musical background can impact either positively or negatively your cognitive response in that environment. And it's different than just plain silence. And they found that if you play classical music, you're more productive. You're associating your thoughts in a more positive way. You can slow things down and you can evoke a mood that's positive and helpful and feels better than silence when you're trying to take your meditation or just enjoying the lovely sounds that these bowls can make. Now we're going to take a look at each one of these individual bowls. Before I get started with the details, I'll point out that each one of these bowls has some scripting on it, and I'll tell you what these symbols basically mean. So on each one of these bowls, you'll see within the bowl on some of them, and definitely on the outside on all of them, what these particular symbols are representing. So we have one symbol representing the vibration or sound of the universe. We have another symbol that's representing ethics. We have another symbol that's representing patience. We have another one that's focusing on getting rid of unhealthy comparisons, right? Ignorance and judgment. We have another one representing concentration, helping your focus. And we have another one that focuses on wisdom and the removal or the rejection of negative feelings like hatred. And so these are symbols that I can't personally pronounce, but I love that they're there and they look wonderful on the bowl. So that's kind of what you're seeing on there on the sides in terms of the scripts. So now let's take a look at each one of the individual bowls, just the way that they look. So here's the inside of this first bowl, and off to the side here you'll see some more information about the bowl, just a picture of it and what it's called. And so here's your symbols on the side here. Each one of these bowls comes with a tapping tool that has a wood side and then has a suede side, and comes with its own little pad that it sits on. And I want you to notice also that each one of these bowls, and I haven't found this to be the case for all brands of bowls, but these are very nicely balanced. They don't wobble. They can sit by themselves without the pad. And we'll take a look at the next one. Again, I'll show you more detail on the side there for this bowl. Here's the bottom. The sides, again, you see this lovely script and design. And then on the inside, there's also, along with your, the drawing symbols, there's a little bit of etching. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a line etching that goes around, if I could put my finger on it here, on this particular circle on the inside. It's just very, very lovely. Looks like a pen and ink etching in there. And this has that same kind of thing going on. And I'll show you on the side there, the name of this bowl. And then just the beautiful scripting of those symbols along the side there. Just repeat it over and over. And then this one sits on a little donut. This one again has a pad similar to the pad that you see here. It's a little bit bigger. And I'll just demonstrate that these are well balanced. So here we go. There's a little guy sitting there. He's not wobbling anywhere. Okay. And then the same thing with this last one. Just rock solid there. So that helps me when I'm playing it so that it doesn't kind of rock around on me if I don't want to have it on the pad. You can also hold these in your hand. So the demonstration that I'm doing here will stick with the pad. And then I'll give you the weights of these particular bowls. I'll get into each one a little bit, one at a time. So we're going to turn on how heavy is this guy. Hopefully you can see those. Okay, so here's our first one. Okay, so that's the weight for that one. Okay, here's this one. Okay, and there's our big one. All right. So what I'm going to use here is a simple tuning app. This one is my favorite, and I'm using an Apple product here. So what I have available to me is Instant Tuner, which I like a lot. So I'm going to hold this up to the screen so you can see what pitch we end up getting for each one of these bowls. So we're starting off here. Okay. I'm going to move each bowl to the same place on this so that hopefully we're getting a fair representation through the microphone. And here we go again. Here's our next one. That's really nice. I hear that cycling in there. That's just lovely. Okay, and then let's do this large one. Okay, now we're going to take a look at the spectrum app. I'm going to turn it on here. I'll give you another view of that. Okay, so this will give you an idea of sort of the volume, the range of sounds that are happening when the bowl is struck, and then a little bit a better idea of how amazingly long these ring out, better than my just saying it's ringing out a really long time, or hoping that the microphone picks up all the complexity of what's happening here. So now I'll just go ahead and make each one of the bowls sing so you can hear the prolonged tone. So here we go. Okay, it's still ringing out, but I'm stopping it. So now we're going to the next bowl. Now here is our last bowl. Bring it in the same place. hope you enjoyed our exploration through singing bowls. I'll put links to these bowls as well as a link to Ukulele Zen live streams. You can sample one of those lovely meditations and kind of hear how the bowl can be used in your musical journey if you're interested. And again, thank you so much for spending some time with me.